You are going to be absolutely shocked at what this one accessory can do to your woodworking experience with the #1 portable planer on the planet. What's the accessory? It's the Wixey Digital Planer Readout. We're going to install this, and then I'm going to walk you through what it actually does. And I think you're going to learn something, because I didn't know it could do this. It's going to change the way I use my planer. It's also going to make me way more efficient in my workshop. No more guessing, no more calipers, just this bad boy on this bad boy. And one more thing, stick around till the end of the video, and I'm going to give you 2 more accessories that only cost me, I think, less than $5, might even be free for you. Let's just get to the install. Choose any one of the preset depth stops and lower the planer down until it stops. Remove the ruler pointer by removing these 2 screws. Hold on to those screws though, because you're going to need them for the installation of the gauge. The readout comes with 3 different sized screws that are to be used as leveling feet. I'm using plywood just to make sure I can get rid of that screw when I'm done, because my planer is bolted down. Using a straight edge, level the foot of the readout frame with the planer table. Remove the adhesive backing that comes on the readout and just throw it on your floor. We're going to stick the readout directly to the ruler on the planer. This is to temporarily hold the readout in place before we permanently attach it with screws in the next step. I removed the tensioning spring from the depth stop and put the depth stop on top to get it out of the way for drilling the holes. The readout does come with a drill bit and 2 self-tapping screws to make this a really simple installation. I attach the screws pretty snug, but making sure I don't over-tighten and strip out the newly drilled holes. We can now lower the gauge back down and reattach the tensioning spring and make sure it's moving up and down freely. Using the original pointer screws, we're going to loosely attach this bracket and double washer back into the same threaded holes where the pointer was located. Next, remove this screw from the readout and install the second bracket with the same screw in the same threaded location. We're keeping all of these screws loose still. Now we'll line up the top of the readout case to match the planer height setting, which in my case I chose 3/4 of an inch. Loosely attach this last screw which connects the 2 brackets. Starting with this gauge screw, you can now tighten down all of the screws that we just put in. We can now install 2 AAA batteries which do not come with the gauge. And now we get to calibrate it. I'm using this 5/4 piece of ash. We're going to run it through and then set the calibration, see how close we are with the calipers. We need to run a board of any thickness through the planer, making sure that material is removed from the entire top surface. If the board comes out with no pencil lines, then I know I've planed the entire surface evenly. Next, we lift the scale and place the freshly planed board between the foot of the frame and the rounded edge of the scale. Next, we press and hold the calibrate button for 3 to 5 seconds to change to a 000 setting. Then we press again to set the thickness of the board. And finally, I wanted to triple check that the measurement of the board matches what the dimensions say on the planer. And so using my calipers, I put it against the freshly planed board and took the measurement, and I wanted to make sure I showed both of the measurements together in the same frame. So no one can say that I pieced together these to make them look perfect. As you can see, they are perfect. All right, now this is where this product really, really shines. Let me walk you through some of the functionality of it, and I think you're going to start to see the real value. You turn this guy on. There's an absolute setting. The absolute setting is the thickness of the board that is going to come out of the planer at this height. Right now, it's set at 0.735. If I need to have a 1-inch board, I go up and I hit 1 inch. I'm ready to go. I run it through. I know I'm going to have an inch, give or take 1,000th or so. And why is that so awesome? How many times have you gone to your planer? You needed a thickness that wasn't a preset. And what do? We run the board through the planer, we get the caliper. We run the board through the planer, we get the caliper. We run the board through the planer until we finally inch our way down to something that we think is the acceptable thickness of the board. Now, we don't have to do that. You can dial it in to the exact number, run it through once, and you're done. You can trust that. The second feature that I think is really, really useful is incremental mode. This mode lets you temporarily reset the planer to 0 without touching the planer settings, so you can dial in the exact thickness on the fly. Now, let's say I have a dado that is 15/32 of an inch. That's a very common dimension because that is the actual thickness of 1/2-inch plywood. Let's say we wanted to fit this piece of walnut in that dado for like an inlay, or maybe it's a shelf, whatever the case. This is where incremental mode shines. This walnut is 0.505 inches, which is just a hair too thick to fit into that dado. With some quick math, 15/32 minus 0.505 equals 0.036. And that's the thickness that we need to remove from this piece of wood to fit perfectly in that dado with a tight friction fit. I can zero out the scale and then drop the planer height down to 0.035, which is close enough to 0.036, and run the stock through the planer, and I'm gonna have a perfect friction fit without going back and forth using calipers. That's awesome. If you guys wanna check out the gauge, I have a link down in the description. It's well worth your time. It's easy to install. It's accurate. What more can you ask for? Now, at the beginning of the video, I said that there's gonna be 2 bonus accessories for this planer that might cost you a couple bucks, might be free. That all depends if you have a 3D printer. I do not, and so I sent these next 2 files to my local library, and they charged me something like 8 cents a gram of filament, and it was less than $5 for these 2 accessories that I think are fantastic. Check this out. Let's start off with this dust collection adapter. If you own this planer, you know that this comes with a 4-inch dust collection adapter, but it comes straight out. Your hose then sits over your planer, your wood gets tangled up in it. It's a mess. This is a free file online that I found on one of the 3D printing websites. I'll put a link to this below as well. So what you do, you just print it out and you lock it in place. It has a locking mechanism that works with the actual hardware on the planer, and you lock it in place. Now my hose is directed away from where the wood comes out. It's up and away. That's a lifesaver, and it didn't cost like the $20 or $22 that you can buy online, which will do the same thing. Awesome accessory. The second thing you may or may not know about, these planers used to come with cord wraps right here. I think they were discontinued like 5 or 6 years ago, but the planers still ship with the threaded holes for the screws. If you don't trust me, go out in your workshop or garage right now and look, and your planer has 4 holes here being unused. These are also free downloadable print files, and they're cord wraps. So if you wheel this thing around like I do, and you don't want to drag the cord, you don't mind taking the 3 or 5 seconds it takes to wrap this, when your planer is not in use, wrap your cord up nice, it won't drag around. How useful is that? It really is pretty incredible what you can find online, people that have the skill set to design this stuff and offer it up for free. Go grab them. Both of the links are below, and take advantage of it. All right, guys, hopefully you liked the video. If you liked it, please give me that thumbs up, like this video. That really helps me out. If you're not a subscriber, think about subscribing. No pressure here. Go check out some more of my videos, see if you like me or not. If you end up deciding you like me, we'll see you on the next video. Have a good one, guys.